Well, good morning, folks, and just going to go ahead and get started here with the top shelf preview. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in, and obviously, I know a lot of people look at this throughout the day, but want to do a preview here early in the morning on a Wednesday night sale, and try to give everybody an opportunity to kind of look through the lots. Got a very good set. Obviously, we've got several in this deal, but have several consigners, and dang sure glad that they made the trek up here to Cameron here to the top shelf. So just from a logistics perspective, we are going to have a live preview here at 5 o'clock tonight here at the farm, and then we're going to have a meal after that and start the actual sale with CCI.live bidding and in-person bidding as well. We'll just have the pigs here on a TV screen tonight from a bidding perspective, but that's going to start right at 7:30 sharp. We're going to go ahead and start that hopefully right on time this evening. So reach out to any of the consigners throughout the day or the evening if you guys have any questions. We've got an awesome group of people here. Just from a delivery perspective, we got a ton of options that are listed. Showpig.com there if you want to check any of those out. If there's anything on there that don't meet your needs, please reach out to one of the consigners or me or whoever it may be. We'll dang sure try to get your pig from point A to point B. We've got a lot of guys here. I know there's a lot of guys coming tonight, and getting them from point A to point B shouldn't be an issue. So got to go ahead and get started here. Korb is actually going to lead off the preview or the Korb offering. To go ahead and get started here, coming across the screen should be lot 4 and lot 15. Just as a side note, we're actually going to sell them in numerical order tonight. So for anybody of you wanting to know a sale order, it's very simple. We'll start with 1. And then follow with 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, obviously, and go all the way through 106. So again 4 and 15. 4 will be the cross gilt there, broken belt. 15 will be the cross bearer, and I'll let Korb kind of tell you the stories on these.
Well, first things first, wanted to thank Troy and the whole Sloan crew for not only the hospitality but inviting us out. It's been a fun week, and it'll be fun later on tonight as well. We get right into these pair of 45-liter pigs here. They be quite Franklies on an anchor man never before, and basically at this point most of our cross sales are kind of all bred the same, and either go back to the blackhead sow or the distinct line, and these go back to that distinct sow, and obviously never before worked for us there. And so I like both these pigs obviously very well. Very excited about the future of both of them. We didn't settle well, but I thought this litter and this pair of pigs was represented what I was trying to bring and try to make. You know, these are the best two that I have in this age group, and they're here for sale. As much as I hate to sell this gilt, because I do think her overall long-term, I guess, quality will be in the fairing crate. Her mom's incredible in the crate, and that one's just hard to let go of.
Well, this is a badass pair, and I really, truly mean that. I think this pair is just absolutely incredible, and I know a lot of times in these previews you can get bogged down with coming up with positive things to say. I don't think there's necessarily, we don't need to break this pair down. I think both of them are just incredible in terms of proportions, look, build, and combine everything in a stout kind of fashion. Very good pair here. Again, thanks, Korb, for coming. I know Korb topped the sale last year with a $27,000 gilt, and I can promise you this gilt is in that same league. Again, lot number-wise, the gilt is 4, and the Barra is 15. Again, going to try to roll through these as quickly and efficiently as possible, but at the same time want to give everybody a look here that can't make it in person. Next up, we're going to continue with the Korb consignments. This would be 37 and 38. These would be purebred Hampshires. The gilt would be 37. The Hampshire Barra would be 38.
Well, wanted to bring some Hampshire options, and I know a lot of you maybe aren't just quite ready to dive into March-born pigs, especially purebreds, but these fit Eastern Regional, they fit Kansas City, they fit Nail even, and so I know a lot of you are probably sitting at home thinking about your pigs that you got getting ready to go to their first jackpot show, but the time is now if you're wanting the show at those shows and be competitive. This Hampshire boar or male pig here will be an ice on a get it right sow. Sow would have raised third overall Hamp Barra last year at Ohio. I thought this pig's squareness and look and design was very good when I left home. And he's kind of an idiot, but he's actually doing all right out here. He just gets a little timid and maybe doesn't want to drive the best. Hampshire gilt would be ice as well on a burro named after my favorite quarterback and Cincinnati Bengal future legend. That's going to continue to. Well, I shouldn't say continue because they didn't win last year, but they're gonna beat the Chiefs here in the next 3 or 4 years pretty handily, in my opinion. So obviously that sow would be a littermate to that third overall barrow last year. Burrow would have been a Top Gun son that we bought out of Belton a couple years ago.
Well, again, like Korb said, it seems like we just got through selling Decembers and Januaries and Expo pigs and stuff like that, but now's the time, and not just saying that because we're having a pig sale tonight, but it's time to sell Kansas City, Louisville, Dallas, Tulsa, whatever you want to call them, or whatever kind of September, October, November shows. It's time, and this pair's ready to roll. I know we have an awesome selection of purebreds here, and I think these Hampshires fit right in. So, again, a pair of Hampshires here from Korb. 37 will be the Hampshire Gilt. 38 is the barrow. Next up, again, continue with the Korb consignments. I believe these are all Yorkshire Gilts, all purebreds, 59, 60, and 80. And again, we're going to sell these in lot order tonight, just for everybody that's tuning in. 59 would be the Yorkshire Gilt. They're in the middle with the blue tag. 60's kind of in the back, going up towards the front now that Laney is on, and then 80 has actually got a yellow tag. So I'll let kind of Korb walk you through these. We've got 3 Yorkshire Gilts here from the Korb firm.
Well, a pair of them here are littermates, and those would be the 2 with the blue tag. They'd be UFC on a quality control. Really liked that UFC gilt that won all those shows in the fall last year, so thought would give this gilt a try. And that quality control boar would have been the boar we bought from Ryan out in California, and did a real good job of just injecting a different pedigree for us, trying to get away from some of the amped up stuff, and really gave us a breath of fresh air, and I thought worked well. I thought both these gilts have a good future just in terms of their balance and their lines. We don't really have a sow family history on any of these, is because I try to hoard as many Yorkshire gilts as I can, but was honestly short-handed on crosses and other things, and so I brought what I had, and as much as I hate to sell Yorkshire gilts, I thought we needed to bring them out. The yellow tag will be a footprint on a Hollywood, so the bottom of that one would be the grandma of the blue tags.
Well, I think an awesome trio here, and man, they're good now, but more importantly, this is big ring, long-term speaking kind of stuff here, in my opinion. Tall-shouldered, good-looking, awesome from a maturity perspective. I think if you're interested in a breeding gilt, again, September through November, this looks like the right kind. This trio is very, very similar in my opinion, but I would reach out to David if you really want to just break them down and see the differences. But again, an awesome trio here. All of them read like good big ones in the end to me, and certainly are built right and have a real neat kind of look and presence. 60 would be on the far side there that Laney's whipping on directly in front of me. 59 there is on the far side there. AC has in the shorts, and then the yellow tag would be the 80. So again, this would be Korb purebred Yorkshire gilts here. We're going to move right on in to our next consignor, Cassidy Hayes.
We drop in Cassidy Hayes here with Hayes. Was it Hayes Farms? Is that what the HF stands for? And excited to have him. We go ahead and start talking about. We got tag 62 and tag 99. Let's see. We got the blue crypt, which would be, which one is it? 62, which is the one there. I guess towards the front or coming back across here. That AC's on, or I guess if you can't tell online, the girl in the shorts is on, and the other one would be tag 99, would be the other blue barrel.
Well, again, just to reiterate what David said earlier, big thanks to the Team Sloan crew for having us, Troy, AC, Scott. Hospitality's been incredible, and watching the set of pigs come through yesterday in a short preview, it looked like it's going to be a tremendous set. The pair of blue ones we have out here are going to be one of 3 34 litters that we brought. Some of the smaller pigs in the sale, but thought some that had quite a bit of versatility for where they could end up down the road. I think hogs that could show maybe at Kansas City, and if you even wanted to stretch all the way to Phoenix, I wouldn't bet against you for having that capability. These will be out of Daylight, the very popular Brotman boar there down in Montgomery that came from Justin Day, was, I think, a $30,000 baby pig at their spring sale a year ago. Just had one litter of these, tried to bring the best 3 that we thought in this group, brought a pair of males and a gilt that we'll see here shortly. Mother of these would be a call for, quote, Deadpool. So that actually puts 3 shots of Deadpool on the bottom side of the pedigree, and kind of largely why they're that blue kind of dark painted color like those are. But neat pair of pigs, again, I think have a bright future and lots of showing options as you head down the road.
Yeah, I was excited to see some of these Daylight pigs. These would be some of the first I've seen. I got a litter in my nursery, but these would be some of the oldest, and they certainly stamped them with a rib cage, and these guys are real round-bodied. They're real stout, and I think, like Cassidy said, they got a long window to feed on because they're small now, but at the same time, they're old enough that they could go to Kansas City or stretch it probably as long as you really wanted to. We drop in this next pin here, and we got a tag 17 and a tag 61. 61 is going to be the spot gilt, and then 17 is going to be the blue gilt.
So tag 17, the blue gilt here that kind of acting like a knucklehead, but it'll come back across in just a bit. This is going to be the final of the trio of Daylights, and this gilt has kind of been on our radar for a long time. When we pulled the set out for this sale, she was one of the first ones that I grabbed a hold of, and if our sow numbers weren't just kind of busting at the belt line there, this one would normally just never be for sale. She'd be a lease option only or just hang tight there at the farm, but one that kind of like David mentioned on his gilt earlier is hard to see go, one that I think has a bright future as a show pig and could be an incredible sow because her mother certainly is in her short career there so far. Little spot gilt, interestingly, she's Poland marked. But she's actually a purebred spot, sired by Party Animal, the boar we sold in the exchange last summer there to Top Cut, Wintex, and Triggs. Bottom side of that one's pedigree would read Times Change, actually on Party Animal's aunt. So lines up that blackish sow that Platt and the Rodibaugh crew had a couple summers back that had a really successful show career there. But a nice pair of pigs, I think. We tried to bring a couple spots, a smaller one and a bigger one that you'll see here shortly that are papered. In our part of the world, that one could show as a Poland, I think, pretty easily on the weekends, but you got papers to show as a spot as you head down the road.
Yeah, I thought this blue gilt hit me pretty hard the other day when we were looking at them. Awesome hip and hind leg, and just looks like a lady, in my opinion. I'm glad Troy is able to prop her up there so you guys can really see what she looks like, because that one's awfully good in my opinion. I don't know much about spots, but that one looks awfully stout. What is her age?
She's early March.
So an early March gilt gives you some options there as well. We drop in the next group here of Hayes, and we got a spot gilt that's tag 16, and we got a off-belt cross gilt here that's tag 98.
We'll start with a spot gilt there. The larger spot that we brought, and kind of the one that we grabbed a hold of there pretty early to make sure we save for this event. This one's mother holds a special place for us, I guess. She's one we raised. I think won the spots 15, 16 times there during the winter of 21, 22, and ended up being the reserve supreme overall at the Texas Elite there, 1,200 head gilt show that we have there in Texas. Bought her back for, I think, close to $20,000. This is her first and highly anticipated litter. There was a pair of gilts I really liked in that group. We sold one online the other night that brought $8,000 to Josh Campbell there in Texas. Got a great home, and then this was the other gilt that we wanted to make sure we saved. And of that pair, this is the bolder, stouter, more robust one that I think could be a tremendous breeding gilt there, but also one that obviously has just a ton of sow power. And from a spot pedigree, if you're an enthusiast of those, this one's really neat. She's a party animal, loudmouth on the old 7K sow of Jarrett Mays that had the Supreme there at OYE, the champion spot there at Denver, and the $50,000 boar that stood at Laird's, I think called Crossfire a few years ago. So kind of a who's who pedigree when you talk about the spotted side of things. And she'd be a late February. Little Gilt is the first of the 18 litters. Those are going to be Cage the Elephant, Godfather, Never Before. Grandma of those is kind of the sow we're building around, largely responsible for our success in the South here the last couple years. She'd be the mom of Hot Rod, the 17-time Grand Gilt there in Oklahoma that stands at True Genetics. Mother of these is a first litter gilt out of that particular female that we're pretty excited about. Brought 3 of these. This is the smallest one, and I think she could easily show in November, December, and had a couple people ask about a Phoenix gilt, and I think she could fit that very, very well.
Well, again, good pair of gilts there, and obviously that spot hits you hard. That's a big-bodied animal that is just very, very sowy in my opinion, and yet still looks like a show gilt on feet and legs and look up front. And then obviously, like Cassidy said, that little gilt's got a long window and could stretch a very, very long ways. Neat pair of pigs. Next pin here would be tag 5, which is the belted crossbred boar. Then the other one would be tag 40, which would be the solid black one.
So this would be a pair of littermate brothers here. Tag 5, the chrome that Troy's got there on the stick, is going to be our leadoff pig. That pair are going to be sired by In the Woods, My Intention Kingpin boar that's at Brockman's. Saw him at Bearweight, thought that was one of the more intriguing breeding pieces that I'd seen in a while, and this sow kind of came to mind. This is the old foundation herself here. So the mom of Poke the Bear and Hot Rod that we've got there at the house. Poke the Bear had the champion York at San Antonio, won like 6 or 7 classes and got a piece of a division, all out of a boar that we just have there at the house that didn't get used a whole lot. So there's a lot of generating power here. Never thought I'd offer another one that had his seeds in him out of this sow, but when we had the chance to come to this sale, I wanted to save something. Kind of thought was special and something we normally wouldn't ever offer to the public, and that's what that one is right there. So Boar Barra, genetically, that one has our best stuff in him for sure. Littermate Brothers, the black one with the white nose. I know there's some variability on what people think of that particular color. But I like that pig so much that I just wanted to make sure that he made the trip. I think that one can make an incredible show bearer. I think design, build, proportions on that one are just very, very neat. And out of that sow, when they typically look like that when they're little, they're their very best big and are tough to handle.
Yeah, I guess I'll speak. I personally, as a judge, I could care less what color they are, and I think that pig's awfully good. And you look past his color, gets you pretty excited. And then obviously Cassidy talked pretty highly on his belted hog there, and I think everything just matches. Again, a good set of a pair of them here. We'll move into our next group. Next pair of them here would be tag 39 and tag 81. 39 is going to be the sock-footed boar pig. Tag 81 is going to be the off-belted gilt.
So the last 2 of our set and the final 2 of those 18 litters. So Cage the Elephant, Godfather, Never Before. Cage the Elephant I didn't mention earlier. That's the kind of the high rent boar we bought from Brotman's about a year ago. He's a Saved by Grace, On Next Intention, and Kingdom Man's Mother. Very first pigs out of that boar from us and Berger are shown in California, and won the Modesto jackpot the other day with one. Had the 3rd overall cross at the Revival. Got a piece of the light crosses and the dark crosses with 2 different ones at Northern Exposure and Red Waves. So for just the first couple litters, they're hitting pretty hard at a large level out west. So we're pretty excited about these, and I think their feeding potential based off those first ones is going to be very, very high. The gilt's been a favorite for me for a long time. I think that one's design and feet and legs are what I always want to represent our brand and our firm. If you know me, watch me judge enough, that's just kind of the kind I like in terms of trying to make their feet and legs, their pattern, and their skeleton as good as we can. And I think that one's best days are certainly ahead of her. Little guy there was kind of one of the ones I thought was a real gun as you head towards Kansas City and Louisville. That pig's size, feature, proportions, ability to kind of put that shape with that kind of rear leg I thought was really intriguing. So those 3 18 litters kind of got all different sizes there to fit different endpoints, but I think all are similar in terms of their quality.
Yeah, that wraps up Cassidy's offering here, and certainly another very good pair of pigs. I guess I like this Barrow pig very well. I think his stoutness ahead, his chest and form hits me very, very well, and obviously everything else matches there. I think just a very, very good pig and a good offering. I think with that said, we'll switch over here to Hilty, and I'll hop off.
Well, just kind of as our first set rolls out here to echo the comments of the other guys, hats off to Team Sloan. Thanks for the invite to be here. Certainly a first-class event, and enjoy the heck out of the time spent here in Cameron. We've got tag 2 would be the white sock pig. That is a no huddle. His mom would be the Quitting Time gilt that was 3rd overall in the junior show at Expo last year, and then won the open show. Mark and I actually bought that gilt together for $55,000. She just had a pair of them. The gilt's at home. This is the only male pig in that litter. And then the other one out here is tag 31. The belted pig pedigree there would be Dash 8, Dirty Lovin'. Dash 8's probably maybe one, in my opinion, one of the most underutilized boars out there. Those pigs have been good. They've fed good. That sow came from Heimer as a $35,000 bred. We sold the rest of his mates online. They got in some really good homes. So excited about this pair. Think there's a pretty big window. Think there's some boar potential there within this pair. Particularly that 2 pig hits me really good.
So again, guys, tag 2 going to be Hilty's leadoff. That's the predominantly black pig there. And then the belt is going to be tag 31. Next one's coming in, guys, will be Hilty's group as well. That'll be tag 11 will be the belted boar pig there, and then tag 12 will be the black-legged boar pig that AC is on.
So 11 and 12 here. 11 would be a 90-litter pig. Those are Fafos. We've got 5 of those litter mates here, so really good litter. Fafo was the boar that myself and Sloan, Bobo, and Gray partnered on that came from Korb. He was a no-comparison son. This was his first pig crop, and I think all of us that had some of those pigs got those pigs sold well, but I think more importantly, those things are feeding well. So that's tag 11. That's kind of the one with the white back foot there. Tag 12 is the other one. He is a FAFO Little Bro. On the south side there, that little would be a Little Bro never before. We went back and used Little Bro just strictly to make some sows, because it seems like when you get that Little Bro on the bottom side of the pedigree, those things generate and get along good. So tag 11, tag 12, both younger sows, but sure look like they're off to a good start in this pair of FAFO sired boar pigs.
The next pair in for Hilty as well are going to be tags 33 and 55. That pair are colored pretty similar, but the dash 8 is going to be closest to the camera. He's going to be the yellow tag. Blue tag is going to be tag 55 again, guys. So yellow tag is 33, blue tag is 55.
So another pair of those 90 litters. We just had tag 11 out here in our previous pen. So this pair would be litter mates to him. That sow is actually a banner never before. This would just be her second litter. She'd have been a litter mate actually to a couple barrows that got along really good in the Texas counties there last winter. One of them was that bear that won that San Patricio County there. That I believe Cassidy actually texted me about, and I heard lots of reports that was a really good pig. So we're excited about that sow and these FAFOs. I said that was the boar that several of us owned together. Unfortunately, we lost that boar, so this will be the first and only crop. But, man, we think he did a good job. The pigs are good looking, got a really unique head, and then they got big square chests in them. So I think a lot of upside here in this pair of FAFO sired male pigs.
Got a trio coming in here for Hilty. Tag 56 is going to be the lone blue pig that's out here. Tag 77 is going to be the more traditionally belted male pig. And then tag 95 is going to be the painted up, chromed up pig that's out here as well.
So tag 56 and 77, the blue, and then the wider belted pig there. That's another pair of those 90 litter pigs. We brought 5 of those litter mates, so I think that speaks volumes to the depth of that particular litter. And again, pedigree on those would be FAFO banner, never before. Spoke about that banner sow and off to a good start. The grandma sow there actually sold to Rory in our sow sale last summer. Again, depth of litter there is really good. These ones are maybe just a little stouter and a little chunkier even than a couple of their litter mates. But certainly, again, think a big feeding window in terms of where you want to end up with those guys. And then 95, kind of the painted up, bigger outline pig. That is another FAFO back on a JoJo contagious sow. That contagious sow would have been a sow that Heimer and I actually owned together there for a couple years ago. She would have been the mother of the Grand Barrel at OYE in 2017. Bought her as lot 1 in his sow sale a couple years ago. So good sow family. I think that pig's got a neat look. So that's another trio of those FAFO sired pigs that, again, we think FAFO did a good job, and those pigs have sold well. More importantly, looks like they're going to feed.
as we're moving along here and get to the last group of Hilties, one thing Troy wanted me to mention is there's some variation in tag color here in terms of yellows and blues, but that plays no influence in terms of sale order or anything of that nature, just kind of as an ID point as we go through here, just so you guys on screen can notice the difference and know which ones that we're talking about and trying to identify. In this last group, tag 32 is going to be the blue male pig there of Hilty's. Tag 76 is going to be the belted boar, and tag 94 is going to be his calico pig, the lone calico that he brought to the sale here.
So in this set, 32 and 76 are mates. They're quite frankly end game never before, so that'd be a sow with kind of a line-bred pedigree that just had 2 litters so far, but looks like she's going to do a good job. This blue pig has been one that's honestly been just a little greener and skinnier, but here over the last week or so, he's really turned the corner and coming on hard. I think just his balance, his look, his build, his proportions, they're all very, very good. That blue one, taking nothing away from the belted one, I think that blue one looks like he's got a chance to make an incredible big one someday. And then the Calico 94 would be sired by Make It Happen back on a King sow. So I think that, Troy's been high on those Make It Happens. We haven't had near as many as what he has, but I'm sure looks like again, those Make It Happens are going to be good pigs. Like that one's muscle, like his shape, like his body cavity. So that's our trio that kind of wraps it up here. And 32, the blue one, 76, the belted one, and then 94 is the calico.
That'll wrap up Hilty's set, guys. A tremendous group, and I have noticed that blue pig running back and forth down the aisle here lately, and I totally agree and echo Will's sentiments that one has parts and pieces that look like he could be a big-time gamer there as you hit the endpoint goal. So good set of pigs. From that point, we'll roll into Mark Gray's set here next.
Well, we're going to jump into the Steve and Mark Gray consignments and a set of pigs that's been very popular with the breeders that are here and the people that have come through the barn. I think Mark's brought us a tremendous set of pigs, and we get started with tag 70 here in the belted one, and then tag 44 is the wider belted chromed up one. I'll let Mark tell you about their pedigrees.
First. All right, I'll get this microphone figured out. First off, I'd like to say thanks to Troy and AC and Scotty and the whole Team Sloan crew for having us up here to this sale, something I've been looking forward to, and very thankful that had a set of hogs here that was good to come. Also like to say thank you to my wife and kids back home and that take care of it this time of the year, teaching school, and there's a lots of activities, and Kelly probably does as much as far as with the kids and the teaching and carrying me up there so I could get loose and do things like this. Tag 7 there, or this pair of hogs that we led off with, they're out of To the Extreme, which would have been a boar like that was out of Tricked Out back on that Quill sow. I don't think they're liking being out here too much and showing off. But and then the south side would have been I bred No Introduction back to his aunt. That sow was one that was very good and been very popular and has done us an extremely good job. And I bred her back to make sows, and we took a pair of litter mates up there to Sweethearts, and then actually sold the hog last year to Shipley, so that boxed out was a litter mate. Their mama was the one that I, from the time she was born there, that I knew that we was going to keep. And like this pair of hogs, and this litter of hogs, kind of like Quite Frankly, and that Quill sow, and To the Extreme fully loaded in them. This has been a litter that's been the first one that's been checked on, the first ones that we've looked, or that I've went and looked at every time I went in the fair and house and in Memphis to make sure they was okay. They've been pretty special since day one, and I was pleased and tickled to get the opportunity to bring them up here.
Well, yeah, this pair of litter mates, again, before I got here, I kept hearing about Mark's set of pigs, and this pair comes out here, and you can certainly see right off the bat why people are pumped up about his set. And, you know, I think To the Extreme was kind of a board that was a little off-aged and didn't get used early, so these would be some of the first ones. I think that's a board you're going to hear a whole lot more about as we go forward. Our first litters were very good, and I think this set of Marks looks incredible. So I think a good pair to get started here with the Steve and Mark Gray consignments, and this pair of litter mate To the Extreme no introduction pigs.
Have another pair of litter mates coming here in the 23 litter. They're out of Quite Frankly, and then that sow that would have been should have been the reserve grand there that one of my students, Tyler Hill, showed the year before. This is actually a repeat mate, and I never do that, but we bred her there, and she was a gilt and had trouble getting them out of her and getting her started there as a gilt. So Jacob Edmond, one of them there last year, and he is extremely pleased with the gilt out of her from the year before. She's grown up, and he said he's definitely going to move forward with that. This litter was extremely good this time. We've kind of held on, and there were some of my higher selling pigs last weekend was these 23s, but I've held on to this male hog to bring here, and then there was just two gilts, and that's the gilt that we held on to bring to this deal. But the Quite Frankly's next intention, never before, is what the sow is.
Well, another pair of Marks here with these litter mates, man, what a tear, quite frankly, has been on over the last year. And as this pair comes out here, you can see why that board's been so popular. I think density and stoutness and proportions are awesome. I think, as we've talked about some of these fall shows and wide feeding windows, man, that 20, I think there's a lot of versatility there for where his end point is as a show barrow. I think you just put him on feed and take him when he's ready, and I think when he is ready, that one could be absolutely lights out with some of the parts and pieces he's got. And then the gilt, man, I think awesome look, big chest, looks like one you could go jackpot the first weekend out, but still built for the long haul. I think another very good set of pigs from Steve and Mark Gray. And 20 is the boar pig, 83 is the gilt.
Last pair of hogs we brought here, the yellow tagged 43 over there, the pinstripe, the one with the pinstripe belt on him. He is a Quite Frankly, and that sow would have come from Shrecky. She'd have been his perfect timing entry there a couple years ago when we sold No Stranger. That was a gilt that done good showing for us and is going to prove to be, I think, even better in the fair and crate. She would have been a My Intentions uncontested bear is what she would have been. And then the other pig there, the blue tag pig, lot 65, he is out of the real extreme mate to Quite Frankly No Stranger. This is her first litter, and we kind of waited around breeding her as far in terms of width and spread. That's a gilt that's as extreme as any of them out of that litter of Quite Frankly No Stranger. The boar that they're out of, he's out of, is Cruel Reality. He would have sired the grand gilt there at Tulsa last year. He would have been a Cruel Intentions back on a curtain call that Dieter Dingray, good friend Tim Herron, has him there, and I think one that is going to do a good job moving forward. But that's our last pair of pigs, and once again I want to say thank you to Team Sloan. Enjoy being here in this setting with this good friends and an extremely powerful set of pigs.
Well, as we wrap up with Mark's set here, man, what another good set of pigs in 43 and 65. You know, we talk a lot about bone stoutness and hair right now. This 43, man, he's got a killer look, and I think he looks like he's going to be incredibly good haired and still good build. I think that one's sure got a chance. I think his look ahead of his blade is just absolutely wild. That's a good pig. I think Mark's brought us a really good set of pigs, and then taking nothing away from the bigger pig, the Cruel Reality sired pig. That's a boar that's maybe just a little under the radar, but I had a chance to judge that gelding at Tulsa that was a Cruel Reality, and I thought she was very, very good. So obviously that boar's done a good job, and what a good set of pigs that we wrap up with here on Mark's set. So we'll go ahead, and I think Platt's going to be up next as we wrap up here with Steve and Mark Gray.
I want to thank Tanya and Scott for having us, and we just kind of showed up. We didn't know it was not an open consignment, but no, just kidding. Really appreciate the offer. Glad to be in it this year, and excited to work alongside some good buddies. So we're going to start off. We got a pair of mates. They are lots 18 and 19, pair of mates. Sired by Next to Nothing, the Stoquist boar that had a good summer for us, hogs fed. We bred quite a few to him. Mother would be a gilt that we raised at the Roar Family Show 2 years ago that actually won her division under Sloan and Hilty, so they even found her, so she's pretty good. We actually showed her in the fall a little bit. She was reserve at Stock Show, and then McKenna Roar showed her at Louisville, was top 5. Good gilt, good young sow. Next to Nothing on her, I think will click pretty good, and I think it did. I think these pair of bears have a little more size to them compared to some of them, but I think some versatility on what you want to feed them. AC's on 19, and the lot 18, Laney's on.
Well, as we get started with a pair of Platt pigs here, I've heard a lot of good reports out of Next to Nothing, and then Travis talked about that sow winning her division there at Expo, and then I actually had the chance to judge her at Louisville too, and man, she was incredible. She was stout skulled and looked like she had some generating pieces, and with this set of pigs, sure looks like she's going to do a good job. You know, Travis said that these are a little bigger and have some size to them, but man, if you need one of this size, you're going to be hard pressed to find one with this kind of quality. These have some variation in terms of where they can end up endpoint, but read like the kind to me that will make incredibly good big ones someday. Balance, build, look, and proportions are all good. Good pair here on the Platt pigs to get started with.
Next group in, I'll start talking about the belted pig. He is actually lot 6. That would be a Spread the Word, which Spread the Word is a boar we bought as a mature from the stud, bred by Cozart. Those hogs have fed extremely well. You know, I guess this crop last year, Trace Pig sold there in our sale and was grand overall for the Straka family there at Tulsa. Some other hogs got along in Louisiana. And honestly, after having some spreads, I think that the right type and kind to start off with a little bit more, I think is a good thing. And I like this hog quite a bit. The mother is actually a gilt that Everhart showed that actually Sloan and Hilty judged her at Louisville. She was champion D3 or 4 and then ended up being 3rd overall. That Kilmer gilt there, we showed her at Indy as well. Everhart did, and she was 3rd overall cross. So her pedigree reads Next Intention. And so Spread the Word, Next Intention is the belted pig. The 2 blue gilts, first time sow for us, she's farrowed twice, second time gilt. We bought her from JD. Boys had her on feed there for North American a couple years ago. She got banged up, but a good young sow, young blue sow. We bred her to Next to Nothing. So I think that these pair of gilts, I know the blue division at Tulsa or as mature gilts, I think they've got some versatility. You want to show them as market or breeding.
Well, another good set here from the Platt firm, and that belted pig, tag 6, sired by Spread the Word, and I think that pig, man, he sure looks like a spread. Those spreads have been incredibly good looking, and I think where that boar has surfaced, length of hip and just bend the rear leg, and the way those spreads use their rear leg has been what's allowed those to go on and be successful. I think that pig's maturity pattern, again, looks right to be an incredibly good big one someday. Then you run into the pair of blue gilts that, man, I love them just from a color perspective, and then just balance and build is so good. Their feet and legs are good. Their body cavity's good. Those look like the kind that could be really competitive show gilts, but then from a sow perspective or a breeding herd perspective, look like the kind that could go ahead and make you long-term contributors from a sow herd standpoint.